Hello, 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 hello. I'm Lynn Browder, and I have a son, Owen, who is 11, and he has autism, and we paint together. He helps me paint the backgrounds of our paintings with a hand-over-hand method, and then I paint the rest. So I am doing something a little bit different today. Oops. I am doing a troll, I think. Or, I'm sure there's like 1,000 other names for them, but I'm doing a little, oops. This is what gets me in trouble, is I use way too much paint on my paintbrush. His little feet here. And hat. I'll fill it in as we go along here, but that's what we're kind of doing. Oops, I didn't mean to go that wide. I'm just kind of filling in the blanks here. And we'll go from there with, whoops, I keep dropping things. So now we're gonna fill in more of the beard. I just wanted to kind of get like the bases in there. And I'm using white and cream. That kind of gives it the little bit more dimension. When it's going through there, I'm going to add a little bit of gray here too. Just to kind of get the coloring. Oops. I knew what was going to happen here. I'm terrible about waiting to dry anything in between. I just get going and I want it done. So, I drop a lot of paint. I spread red when I don't mean to. And 1,000 other little painting fun faux pas, I suppose. I feel like I have a frog in my throat. I don't feel like I am sick. I just feel like I have a frog. So today, Owen had a hard day, or maybe I had a hard day. I'm not sure. Both of us were having hard days. We'll just go with that. He got himself in a tailspin over going to Grandma's tomorrow, but he was in a tailspin over doing that at the beginning of the week. So this is what's so hard, is with vacation days, holidays, any of this. He doesn't really care about the holiday per se. He doesn't even really understand about a holiday. He just knows he wants to do what he wants to do. And so, that is hard on him. It's very, very hard for him to kind of just say, oh, okay, well, we're doing this, we're doing that. But we made it through it. It's hard for me to think how hard it is for him to, like, how it has to be hard, or why it's hard. I don't even know what the right question of hardness is. It's just hard. He repeated and repeated and repeated, and he has numerous doctors, numerous therapists, numerous just resources, specialists that all work with us. And I always say autism is as much about how I handle it as it is about Owen having it. And the key is that I don't know how to handle everything. And, when we go through and we work with a specialist, they give us ideas, and Owen is I'm having a hard time explaining, because he baffles a lot of the specialists, because he is beyond intelligent and can think through so many things. So when we're talking about Owen and all that he knows and he can do and he says, this is difficult because he is a brainiac. He knows so many facts. He doesn't forget anything. And that just makes all of this harder, because the dude forgets nothing. He forgets nothing. And he also is good at reading me. He can tell, and others, he can tell when they're, emotional about something. And so this is also hard, because he knows it. He knows what's going on. He knows the emotional part of it. He knows all of the facts. With that said, that's, again, part of that hard moment in time, because he doesn't forget anything. And because of that, what we go through is hard. I mean, he knows not to repeat things. He says the words to keep himself from repeating things. We go over the process. And again, he has all the counselors and all the therapists and all the, amazing people in his life. And yet he still has such a hard time with all of it. And it's just a very emotional journey. So, we'll get back to that, but I wanted to get the main section in there. And again, the key really is wait till some of it dries, and or don't touch it. But that's just not how I roll, as you can see. So we got this going on. But you know, I see so much growth. I have to just kind of try to breathe through the day, like I always tell him, and try to not get overly emotional about the particulars. And I will 100,000,000% tell you that's hard. It's very hard to do because it's very hard to do. I mean, that's my baby, that's my boy. And when he is hurting or when he is wanting to do something and we can't because he's having a meltdown or there's a problem, that's not really how I want to spend our day. I don't want him trapped in a moment in time where he's just continuously asking about his grandma. Or, that he's getting back to his daily routine, meaning each day routine. You know, a week off of school for Owen is the longest week ever. And I can 100,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000, whatever the number is, tell you that I'm not looking forward to Christmas break, because that is basically 2 weeks of not my son's favorite routine. Not being in school, not being with his friends, not being with his teacher, not being with just, the routine. The routine is life for him. And as much as I try to get him off of certain routines, certain things, that doesn't mean that it's not going to still be in his mind continuously. And again, because he doesn't forget a thing, not one ever thing, it's even more difficult for him because he wants his routine. So it doesn't matter how many times I say to him, you're not doing this, or we're not doing that, or we are doing this, we are doing that. He could care less that we're supposed to be having Thanksgiving dinner. And it's not, it's not like it's a callous care less. It's not like it's being mean or he just doesn't want to participate. He just doesn't get that version of a holiday. Like, he's only just starting to understand that he gets to see Santa and it's fun for him. And he can, ask him for toys. This is the first year that he has asked to see Santa. Like, he's wanted to go and see Santa. He's seen Santa before. We've been to Santa before, but this year was the first year that he truly said, oh, I want to see Santa. And he says yes, wants to go. And, that is a big, huge step for him. So if we take everything into account and we move through the process, there is so much of it that's just, it's a big deal. It truly is like a big, big deal. So I have to keep that in mind. I have to know that what he's accomplished is huge. And it's going to keep growing. It's going to keep moving forward. But it still is emotional. Still emotional. Not sure that I like the black all the way down there. I might just kind of put it there, but make it a little more focused like that. I think is what's going to happen over here too. I'll put the black around the edge, but just make that more, I wanted it like a little heel, but with the black background, I don't want it to completely disappear. I just want it to, highlight it a little bit. So that's better. Sometimes I gotta go back and forth. So this is why it's funny when I'm when I'm doing certain things, I usually, like when I paint flowers, I usually only have one paintbrush. And then I do something like this and I have tons of paintbrushes. And so it never fails. I generally end up using the wrong paintbrush at some time. And I use the white with the red, which again doesn't. I have tons of paintbrushes over here, so not a biggie. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So we are almost done. I'm just gonna kind of connect this a little bit more where it looks a little rougher. There we go. I think we're done. Maybe a few little more down here. And I think I'm just gonna mix a little bit of the gray in there so it kind of looks like it's a little more over like that. When it dries, it'll kind of give it a little more angle to it. I used a couple of reds in there so that it would again have kind of a shadow effect to it, and that will just give it a little more depth in there. Okay, so I always sign O for Owen, and then L and B. So there we go. Thanks for watching and being a part of our day. Toodles!